What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, part 2 of Hildren Prime Access. We're going over the Larkspur Prime today. And we'll be talking about, is this thing worth getting? The answer is no, but we're going to laugh at it for a good couple minutes here, and just point at every little thing we can to make people try and regret the decision of buying this Prime Access, because honestly, Archwing guns need a lot of work. And it's not the first time I've said it, and it won't be the last time. Before we get into it, though, make sure you sub this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. Also, check out the live stream channel. We did the dev stream live reaction yesterday on stream, and we'll be doing lots of, Warframe stuff going forward, the V-Ray in April and all that. All right, so the Larkspur Prime. I'm going to first show you how this thing works, what kind of stats it has. Then I'm actually just going to show you a weapon I'd recommend over the Larkspur Prime. Actually, I'm going to show you multiple weapons I'd recommend over the Larkspur Prime. The way this thing works is basically, well, it's an Archwing gun starting off, and you cannot use it in normal missions or call it down like this unless you have the Gravamag unlocked. And the Gravamag, I believe you can purchase it for 20 plat. You also will get a blueprint for one when you do the Profit Taker on Fortuna. The stats of the Larkspur Prime, when you call it down in mission, are going to be not a huge upgrade over the normal Larkspur, honestly. And at the same time, they also cut the stats of the Riven on the Larkspur Prime in half. So we have 0.5 Dispo. The primary shot's going to be a beam, think of like a Ghostbuster, like chaining beam kind of thing, with 10% crit chance and a 14% crit chance in the prime one and a 1.6 multiplier with 90 radiation damage. Not the best, especially when we look at the mods we can put on Archwing guns. And it also has an alternate fire with an exploding shot with a big radius but huge damage fall off and 420 damage. It might look like it's killing enemies really fast, but when you actually look at the enemies, like what their corpses are doing, this weapon just ragdolls enemies a lot and doesn't actually kill them. So we'll start with some level 50 enemies because, we'll do level 190. This is going to show you why this weapon is not worth it and why Archwing guns in general just need massive, massive buffs. But don't let me tell you. Let's just see it right here. So we're using the Larkspur Prime. That guy got fully armor stripped. You guys are level 190 Exo Gokstad officers. That's my entire magazine with a somewhat AoE weapon. And of course they are viral proc like crazy because of my Panzerwolfenpfeiler. Maybe we can finish killing them by the end of the second magazine. Okay, it took about 2 magazines to kill those guys, even though they were armor stripped and viral proc from my Panzerwolfenpfeiler. Alright, so that's one thing. Let's use my primary now. I'm going to use the Vermisplicer primary, one of my main go-to primary weapons. Let's do the same thing with no Panzer viral procs this time. So as you can see, we're getting slash procs from Hunter Munitions. We're going to be getting Galvanized Aptitude if I even have it on here. And we have massive, massive multi-shot. Not even one magazine to take out all these enemies, no problem. And I actually stopped firing, and they weren't viral procced. So just comparing this Larkspur Prime to a primary weapon, it's got so many more problems. And as you can see, if I wanted to resummon the Larkspur, if you get rid of your heavy weapon in the mission, it's going to have a cooldown for a long time. So you have to pick up heavy ammo to restore that. And I don't even know, can you even do that in normal missions? So it's going to have a massive cooldown. Did that kind of damage look like a weapon that needs a cooldown to you? I'd say definitely not. Take a look at the build here. We don't really have the best options as far as mods either. For prime mods on Archwing guns, look at that. There are none. The only one that there is the one that's already on here. Prime Rubito Line Barrel. Basically just think of it as like prime pressure point for Archwing guns. Going to give you massively increased damage compared to the normal one, which is probably I think 80% damage or something. Either way, if you have the prime one, use it. If you don't, just don't even use this thing in the first place. So you've got a crit corrosive heat build here. And of course you could jam on some viral procs if you want to go viral. It's quite easy to just switch that around. Just switch that mod right there. Now we got viral and heat, going to be very similar. But yeah, there's not very many powerful mods for Archwing guns. One of the nice things you could do on this thing, it is a beam weapon. So this increased beam range mod, Ballista Measures, will give you a little bit extra range. I believe it's got 40 meter range normally, so this will make it have 20% extra range, and it'll go to 48 meters. Not really going to make much of a difference, but yeah. So we got 60% multi-shot, the strongest Archwing mod there is. Comparing that to the primary version of multi-shot with the new galvanized, or rather somewhat new galvanized mods, 230% multi-shot when fully stacked up. So we got about 4 times the multi-shot in one mod slot compared to a heavy weapon. Just to put this perspective to this weapon I'm going to be showing you with the Vermisplicer, Palmaris, and Splat, has 34 base damage and 39% crit chance. So a primary beam weapon has a third of the damage of a heavy weapon with over double the crit chance too. I think it was like 39. This is 14. And also, we have hunter munitions for primaries, too. So this Archwing gun doesn't have hunter munitions. There's pretty much no way to get slash procs out of it. Let's quickly use a viral setup here and see if it's any better or any worse. You know what, while we're at it, let's actually use Nourish to get even more viral damage. So there we are with an actual weapon buff. So as you can see, when that enemy was armor stripped, sure, it was fine. But any enemy armor stripped can be nuked down by viral damage relatively easily. Like that would be the same situation with any weapon with somewhat okay stats. And as you can see, actually looking at what's happening to this enemy right here, it's pretty much just tickling her. Like, she's getting tickled to death right now. And it's really the heat procs. 3,400 damage heat proc. Finally will die after all of this ammo expenditure. That's why you would probably want to mod for corrosive for these guys, because you do want to shred their armor a little bit. So yeah, really, really underwhelming. And of course, let's show the alt fire shot. You know, it looks so cool. It has cool sound effects. It must be pretty powerful, right? Unfortunately, no. So you push the alt fire button to switch, and you have a charge shot. So you can hold this down until it like automatically release. Look, they all flew over the room. Oh, all those enemies are still alive and took like 1 damage. And like I said, there's really not any way to massively increase the damage on this with only Archwing gun mod. Sure, I could throw on some weapon buffs from other stuff. I could throw on Roar from Rhino. I could use Nourish from Grendel. I could armor strip. I could do a lot of stuff. But this is supposed to be a heavy weapon with a cooldown. Not even supposed to be. It is. This weapon has a cooldown in mission. And the only place heavy Archwing guns are actually used is going to be on the Prophet Taker, because you are forced to run a heavy weapon on the Prophet Taker. Now let's look at some other Archwing guns I'd probably recommend to you over this thing. You got the Kuva Grattler with a Toxin roll. As you already look at this, it's got double the crit chance. This thing is AoE. I'm not sure how big the explosion range is. 9-meter explosion range. Now, I do have a ribbon on this thing, to be fair. But yeah, this is going to be much, much better than the other thing we were just using. Let's just quickly give it a shot. And then I'm going to show you the in gameplay, because basically the Larkspur Prime has a very hard time even killing an Eximus unless they're armor stripped, debuffed like crazy. It's just not what you really want to be doing. And I think that DE should be adding galvanized mods for Archwing guns. They should be, honestly, if you're making a new Prime Access DE, it needs to be like some top tier gear, if you ask me. A new player should be buying that stuff and be like, oh man, that was a really good use of $140. Not, wow, I can't believe they actually released a Prime weapon that was that bad with the Larkspur Prime. So like, already off the bat, of course I had a Riven and stuff. But yeah, if you want a beam weapon, I would recommend this kit gun to you. Vermisplicer, Polymerist, Splat, been using it for years. And as far as, you know, a build, you have so many options. You can go viral, you can go pure toxin, you can go slash. It has built-in toxin. The Riven mods for this thing is really cheap. So the primary Vermisplicer kit gun, you can have an anti-corpus built with mainly toxin. Very, very versatile, very, very powerful. And not even like with a Bane mod on there, it was killing those guys no problem. So let's get some Steel Path gameplay of this hunk of junk, just so I can, you know, laugh at it a little bit more. So yeah, would I recommend this to you? I would not, unless you are trying to get Legendary Rank 3, as this is pretty much just Mastery fodder. Most Archwing guns are Mastery fodder, but there are a couple good ones. I'd say the Mausolon, the one that comes automatically with a Necromech, is going to be probably the best one in the game, I'd say. But there's other good ones too. The Corvus Prime is quite nice. I think some people like to use the Velocitus for Prophet Taker. Basically, just don't use this. Don't use the Larkspur Prime. Pretend it doesn't exist after you Mastery fodder it. And I would say, yeah, just DE. I don't know what you were thinking releasing this thing. You literally buffed the crit chance from 10% to 14%. That's not going to patch up the issues this thing has. This is the Steel Path you're seeing right here. I'm using Zephyr's Tornadoes. I'm using Zephyr's passive to get increased crit chance while airborne. I don't think I was using Arcane Avenger, but I probably should have, because this thing needs all the help it can get. When an Eximus shows up, yeah, it's probably just not going to die, honestly, because, yeah, there we go. Look at this Eximus damage. I can't even see because the magnetic proc, but, like, dude. I guess I could have technically armor stripped him, but at that point, I could kill him with the Lado at that point if he's armor stripped. So, big problems with Archwing guns. This feels like a joke, honestly. I can't believe they're releasing Prime Accesses with this terrible of weapons. I thought that Barut Prime was, like, as bad as we were going to get this year with, like, actually, I guess that was technically last year, with the Aphurus Prime and the Cobra and Crane Prime, no, this is like the new stinker. They should probably never make a new Prime Archwing gun ever again until they make some fundamental changes to the mods we have available to them. Like, we need Condition Overload for Archwing guns. We need Galvanized mods for Archwing guns. We need Bane mods for Archwing guns. There's no Bane mods for Archwing guns for some reason. It's just very limited. And if you look at like what benefits Archwing guns have to them as far as like good mods, the biggest thing that Archwing guns really have over a lot of other things, if you look at the elemental mods Archwing guns have, they're just 120% increase instead of 90%. So like Infected Clip or whatever, like Polar Magazine, the cold version for rifles, that will give you 90% for the big elemental one. It will give you 120 on Archwing guns. But if you look at the status chance, like 60-60 mods, they're the exact same copy pasta from the primaries. So there just really isn't much thought put into these numbers, it feels like. They're just like kind of like outdated. Like 60% multi-shot, really? Why 60%? Like, it just, a load, you can't add on to this unless you have a ribbon. As you can see, these ribbons are really, really weak. Even with a God Roll ribbon, it's not going to be doing much, especially because this has nerf dispo compared to the normal Larkspur. Honestly, the normal Larkspur probably does more damage with a ribbon if you take a ribbon into account. So, embarrassing, really, really bad. The only good part about the Prime Access is going to be the actual frame, which seems like a thing I'm saying a lot recently. It's like, okay, the only good part about Baruch Prime Access was the frame. The only good part about Hildren Prime Access was the frame. That should not be the case. We are 10 years into this game, and Prime Access is like pretty much just spinning its wheels in the mud. It's the same as it's been the entire time. They changed like one thing. They used to give you a credit booster for 90 days. Now you get I think it's like a resource booster for 90 days. That is the only change Prime Access has had recently. Now, of course, they also did make it where you could buy the accessories separately, but, you know, that should have just been there the whole time. So if you want to buy Hildren Prime Access, I'd say don't do it, because you're pretty much, you're enabling bad practices and like anti-consumer decisions like this. But if you do, you have to waste the money on Hildren Prime Access. Just buy the accessories, I'd say. This stuff is terrible. I'll probably do a Shade Prime video too. But yeah, Shade Prime's gun got I think it's a 0.1 damage increase to slash damage. And I don't know. I don't know who approves this stuff, but either way, guys, I hope you guys found this video at least fun and helpful. Archwing guns need a lot of help. I don't think I'm the only content creator that feels that way. I don't think I'm the only player that feels that way. And yeah, it's just embarrassing and sad. I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate the support. Take it easy. Peace!